Okay, we all know the healthcare system does not work. Our guest is Dr. Charles Simone, Protective Cancer Institute. He's talking about something very radical. Let's stop it before they get the disease as opposed to treating the disease. On the phone, our guest, former Democratic Congressman from Iowa, Berkeley Bedell. He joins us now from the telephone in Naples. How are you, sir?
Very fine, thank you.
Okay, you were in Congress and you saw how a lot of power lobbyists and special interests don't like this idea of Dr. Simone's. Am I correct?
No, I don't think I did see that. I did not.
Well, excuse me while I shoot myself on the air.
Oh,
Go ahead, sir.
do that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I did not see a great many lobbyists in regard to health care. In my opinion, the lobbying problem is not as great as it's pretended to be, in that I think the greatest problem is that members of Congress are doing a whole lot of different things. And therefore, there is a limited amount of attention they can put to any particular issue.
Let me ask you something, okay? This is sort of radical in fact because we're talking about stopping people from getting the disease before they get the disease. I mean, you don't find much conversation about that in Congress. I mean, all the money is going toward how are we going to treat everything. More than, my understanding is more than half the money that goes into, correct me if I'm wrong on this.
95% goes into treatment at the NCI budget.
Yeah, but half of the money that goes to Medicaid.
Oh, and 52 cents of every dollar goes from some governmental agency to treat health.
Go ahead, sir.
But I don't see what's so radical. I would think almost anybody would recognize that it makes a lot more sense to keep people healthy.
Well, you'd think so, but why hasn't Congress pushed in that direction?
Well, I don't know that Congress has pushed in either direction.
Yes, sir, it has pushed definitely in one direction, and that's called treatment. That's where all the money goes. It doesn't go to stopping folks from getting diseases.
Well, I think that's true, but to a great extent that comes out of the bureaucracy. Certainly, Congress cannot, in everything, get down to the fine details. Now, they give money to National Institutes of Health for research, for example. And National Institutes of Health may spend most of their efforts towards researching treatments rather than researching how to keep people healthy.
Yeah, I got lost here. Pardon me, sir. We're talking 95% of 95 cents of every dollar goes for treatment. 5 cents goes to make sure they don't get the disease. It's a little out of whack, isn't it?
Well, I certainly, absolutely, that is true.
All right, then. I don't have to shoot myself here. But let me just find out. Do you think there's any possibility in your in your mind? Do you think there's any possibility of changing the way things work in Congress toward prevention?
Yes, but I think we've got more problems than just prevention with our health care.
Well, one of the problems we have, J.D., is that one of the people who's taking over the Agriculture Committee in Congress is from Kentucky. I believe he's from Kentucky. I can't remember the congressman's name. But he said when it comes to researching and going against the tobacco lobby, they're going to look the other way, that his state grows tobacco, and those investigations are over, where you have the 7 heads of the tobacco companies looking in the camera and saying there's nothing wrong with tobacco, it's not cancer-causing. Those days are gone. So Congress is going the other way as far as some preventive treatment goes.
One last thing. Tell me something about the Office of Alternative Medicine, will you?
Yeah, but first I should tell you, those hearings were not in the Agriculture Committee in regard to tobacco. Those were on the Health Committee. Okay. And it's the Health Committee that is looking at the problems with tobacco.
Okay, I thank you very much for joining us, sir. Later on, we're going to, at some time in the future, be talking about the Office of Alternative Medicine. At that time, I hope you will join us, and I thank you for joining us right now. Doctor, let me ask you, in terms of the way you're looking at things, one of the areas that's very radical in what you're talking about, okay, is explain this, if you would.
Yeah, we must reward companies and people for good, healthy behavior. When you turn in your 1099 form or your W-2 form with your income tax form, you should be able also to turn in your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your triglyceride level, a certified blood pressure reading.
Now, what is this going to do?
These are the major risk factors that cause both cancer and heart disease.
And you, what are you going to do? You're just
we'll give them some money.
Give them some money?
We'll give that guy some money. If his cholesterol is under 200, we'll give him $75 off the top.
I'm loving this.
If his triglycerides are under 150, we'll give him $35. If the blood sugar is normal, we'll give him another $35. Blood pressure good, fine. Tobacco, no use of tobacco, we'll give them another $75.
And if they do use all of these things in there,
Well, no penalty. I don't have a penalty system for this yet.
Just
but
reward.
I think that must be done also, because until it hits the person's pocketbook, people's behavior are not going to change.
so you're talking about giving carrots and sticks in terms of
Carrots right now, then sticks later, hopefully.
But never steaks.
Never steaks.
just carrots and sticks.
Red meat and dairy products are the problem.
Elaine from Mississippi, go ahead, Elaine.
Hi, I noticed he said no penalty yet. Here we are, the behavior Gestapo want to change the way we eat, we drink, no milk, no meat, no cheese. That's fine. If you want to live your life like that, you're going to die anyway. You have to die.
So why not speed it up?
What?
So why not speed it up? You're going to kick, so why not cut 20 years off your life?
That's less people around to draw off all the Social Security funds.
Oh, well, keep a happy thought. Oh, I feel like I'm talking to Peter Pan here. Drop them like flies.
Is my business. I don't think anybody should be telling me or anyone else how we should eat or drink.
Okay, wait, let me just go ahead. Dr. Simone, what do you say to me? Because you're bringing this up, you're going to have a lot of people.
Please do what you want, but don't expect full payment anymore. We can't afford to keep paying people for bad behavior. If a smoker wants to continue smoking, let him smoke. But now he has to pay extra taxes on that tobacco. If a drinker wants to continue drinking, let them drink the alcohol, but pay extra taxes. More sin taxes have to be generated, and those sin taxes must be allocated for smoking-related diseases, not for the whole schmear of healthcare costs.
Okay, we have Bob from Virginia. Go ahead, Bob.
Yes, I have a question for the man who said, give money if you're a non-smoker, if your blood sugar is good.
Okay,
and
that's
your
Dr. Simone.
cholesterol.
Go ahead, ask your question, Bob.
My question is, I am diabetic. My blood sugar, you know, I can control my blood sugar through my insulin. However, it is inherited. It is no fault of mine. And I'm going to be penalized? That's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard.
No one gets penalized for an illness that they cannot control. You simply don't get $35 credited towards your income tax. Again, this is merely a hypothesis. This is not ground in granite at this point.
I tell you what, Bob, I know you're sort of mad about that, especially if you got diabetes and it looks like you're going to get discriminated against. But what he's talking about is somehow or another we got to make it worthwhile for people to lead healthy lives,
Right.
whether it be carrots or sticks or something. That's all. Shirley from Texas, go ahead, Shirley, quick.
Talking about nutritional police here,
Well,
and it's just government interference in our lives again.
I'll tell you what, Doctor, what do you do? You got all these folks saying they don't, I mean, they're just not liking your idea.
Well, of course, because some people may be overweight. Some people may have an elected high cholesterol of 300 or so. There's no fairy that comes around at night and sprinkles in cholesterol to people while they're sleeping, or triglycerides, or make them overweight. These things are brought on by themselves, generally speaking. Not always, but generally.
But look, I'll tell you what, it goes against the American character in many ways, because these people don't want to be police. They don't want a carrot and a stick, and they don't,
You know something, in a way they are. When I was a kid, I used to look at the Walt Disney show, and you used to see the ads for the American Dairy Association, and when you're a little kid, you think that's an official government arm, and they'd say, milk, it's good for you, and when you're an adult, it's not. So that's a kind of a propaganda from another commercial private form.
Well, you know, what I'm trying to do is just bring some rationality and fairness into the system.
We're gonna do this, okay, all the way through this healthcare thing, okay, because there's gonna be more healthcare. We're gonna ask you to come back and again constantly look at the logic of where we're taking the healthcare bill. Will you come back with us?
My pleasure.
Okay, stay tuned. Next, Presidential Pretender.